All right, I'm out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm out at a place at the graveyard of Speed the Ride. In case anyone's ever wondering where this is right across from Mandalay Bay. And yeah, I'm just out here, wanted to look around, wanted to film some stuff, wanted to look at some things. So I thought, hey, what better way than to go live? So I'm going live. Let's look at some of this stuff here. Yeah, these are the stators. You can see everything's just been sitting out here. One of the nice things about being out in Las Vegas like this is that it's dry. There's no humidity really. There's some rain, but not much. So this stuff actually stays in really good condition out here. You see they got the nice stainless steel housing on there. If you ever want to see the markings on these stators, there they go. By, what is that called? Force Pack? Force Pack. Now, the hardest part about these sideline stators like this on these old Premier rides is that you have to align them up and down to get the fins from smacking them as they go through, which really means that on a standard LIM ride, basically the guide wheels are really what you have to pay attention to so you don't smack stators. But for these old Premier rides like this, you really have to pay attention to the road wheels because that's what determines this fin side height. And you'd much rather replace road wheels day after day than start chewing into one of those stators. Because those stators, I mean, I dealt with the Pro limbs made by Intrasys, and those stators run anywhere between $8,000 and $20,000 a stator. And then when I say stator, I mean like, let me show you here. So if we're looking at this here, see this bottom, you have a bottom and a top. This bottom piece right here is a stator. The top is a stator. So two stators together might, like this assembly, might be a motor. But a lot of times what happens is that you have multiple sets together that actually make a motor. I mean, you know, this stuff has some rust on it. I know, right? This has some stuff on it and some rust in there. But realistically, the scale of these rides, you know, most people really can't gather how thick everything is. So I'm going to try to zoom in here. Here's an end opening to a track rail right there. And you could see, you know, that doesn't look like much on camera, but that is probably 16 to 18 millimeters thick, or, you know, almost 3/4 of an inch thick on that rail. That is really thick stuff, really heavy duty plate. I do have to say, you know, after working with some Premier rides, Premier does do a good job at making their stuff really stout. The one thing I honestly hate about Premier rides design is this guy right here. See this cross tie right between the track? If you zoom in on that cross tie right there, that's like, it's almost like a cast piece or something they put in there. And that, in my mind, looks like that's gonna have failure written all over it. But then you've got the double backbone design right there, where they use two big tubes and then welded a plate between them. That's okay. I have not heard of the new Giga rumors from Busch Gardens. But I mean, that's kind of one thing. I don't hear much about that stuff. I'm starting to hear more about those things now that I'm on I do a lot of work with the Side Friction podcast, because they always do news there, which is, I never really did news before that. But now I get in the news feed, so I'm starting to learn more and more about that stuff. Yeah. Now here, this is a fun one right here. If you could zoom in on it. That is magnetic brakes. Sorry, my hands are shaky. I had too much coffee. It's coffee, 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 coffee. Yeah, those are magnetic brakes. Now, I know nobody's jumping in here to steal stuff, or it doesn't look like anyone's stolen stuff out of here. But man, those magnetic brakes are worth a lot of money. Holy crap. Like, that is a solid like 40, 50 feet of brake right there. When you buy those brakes, they come, geez. I mean, like a little 1.5 foot long brake is probably like $2,000. Anyways, I'm pretty sure those, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure those are the brakes. I'm not 100% on that, actually. How does Speed Ride look? You think anyone would buy it? Honestly, so I kind of talked about this in the like relocating roller coasters video. All the track and structure pieces are here. Now, granted, all these pieces don't go to a zero datum level, which means like there were pieces of this ride that were elevated 30 feet in the air. They had pillars going up, so you'd have to recreate those. You'd have to just pour this giant concrete pier to basically recreate those footers. So that would be kind of weird to do, and then the structure, the layout would look really weird at the same time because it's not going around a nice hotel like it was in the past. So someone could buy it. Now, I was told at one point by somebody that the trains were out here, although I do not see the trains anywhere. Granted, they could be stored away somewhere else. Honestly, after this many years of sitting here, you can see stuff has rusted. Not too much, but I mean, stuff's rusted. Honestly, that rust is just superficial. You could take it right off with a wire wheel and repaint it. None of this rust looks structural to me. Like, nothing looks like it's like damaging the actual material on the inside. Not great, absolutely, but not really structural. You can see here's a close-up piece right here. Like, you can see that it's like surface rust. I mean, roller coasters get this all the time. Sorry, I got a sun to my back, so I can't really see if a lot of this stuff is focusing well. Between the polarization on my sunglasses and the sun, it's hard. But the thing is, for sure, and this is where the cost of this ride would really be detrimental to someone purchasing this thing. Honestly, all of this corner over here where all the stators are, you'd be looking at full stator replacement over the entire ride. I'm not sure if Premier makes them, if the Force company or whatever it is, I'm not sure if they still make them either. But you'd basically be looking at putting in a brand new drive system. And man, that drive system would rival the cost of the steel purchased for the ride. It would be really rough to try to purchase this ride and install it somewhere. I would actually say it'd probably border, because you'd have to purchase yeah, son says you can get a better look if you go in there. It's like, yeah, you're right. Could illegal. But I'm actually not about, I know there's plenty of YouTube channels that do it, but I'm actually not about recording myself trespassing. That's not my thing. I'm not going to record myself trespassing. I know plenty of people that will, though, but it's not it for me. You see, can you see that over there? Mechanical brake. One of the old pinch brakes is still left on there. Yeah, I don't understand. People are like, oh, I'm recording myself breaking into stuff. It's like, okay, well, your AdSense knows who you are and where you live and your social security number and everything else, and then you're going to record yourself breaking into that. Like, oh, that's really smart. That's great. I love that for you guys. Everyone's so creative. Yeah, not me. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, Zoom looks shakier than normal. and my coffee-fueled hands. Too much coffee! Oh! But you know, at Vegas prices for coffee, you gotta get coffee. That's really enjoy that. You have to really enjoy that coffee, right? Man. Yeah, this is something, you know, we come out to Vegas all the time. We have in-laws, or mom, dad, and in-laws live out here. So we come out all the time, but actually this is the first time I've actually come to visit the grave here. Yeah, if you're going to, yes, like if you could see, like there's the strip in the background right there. This is Mandalay Bay and what is that, the Luxor. So it's just right over there, and there's a McDonald's here. So if you just come off the strip and turn left at the McDonald's by Mandalay Bay, come down this road, and you could just pull right over here and park. There's actually a big open parking lot. Was containers, but now it's just open. And you too can visit the graveyard of Speed the Ride. So nice. What I do find interesting is that on a lot of this stuff, Premier did not plug the backbone, which that's interesting to me. I thought all manufacturers kind of did that. So what I mean by that is that if you look, so on top of the backbone here, if you look at that and then like straight ahead of me, you can actually see that backbone. You can actually see all the way through it. And you know, it's just a pipe. That's all it is. That's all they all are from all the manufacturers. But most of the time, manufacturers actually weld a hole. They weld a plug basically on the end. So you'll see the end open, but you couldn't actually pass anything through that. And the main reason for that is because these flanges typically aren't, even though they use liquid and gas flanges, they're not really that tight. So air and stuff gets on the inside, and if you get air on the inside, that means you'll have moisture and corrosion on the inside as well. And then you could literally rust something from the inside out, which is horrible for failures because the thing will just catastrophically fail on you at one point in time. So someone like what they might have had to do with all this, which they might have done, I don't know, I can't really tell, in the coating, is they might have actually taken these whole pieces and dipped them in galvanization. They might have had them galvi dipped. So the steel actually is coated from the inside out. But I don't know that for sure. You'd have to go in and then start scraping off color and stuff like that to get in there. Yeah. This is interesting. I love just coming around to see stuff like this. Again, been out here all the time, but I've never actually come to see this. A lot of the pathways and stuff. But yeah, if anyone ever were to try to buy this ride, you would have to basically 100% new trains, because I can almost guarantee you wherever the trains are, they're either in the trash or they're rusted apart. So you wouldn't be able to use the trains again. And then probably it's safe to say that these stators, although they're in good condition, they're probably trash. They're probably trash as well. So yeah, we came out here just to do a trip and see. Yeah, you can see they just, you know, typical construction. When they took it apart, they just cut the wiring right there. That's normal. And you see that big junction box right behind it with that big, it looks like conduit. That's actually a cable. It's actually, yeah, I'm sorry, it's got a bunch of cables on the inside of it. Where is, oh, right there, jeez. Oh, they must have pulled most of them out because that is not enough for that inside there. And then if you look at the ends of these things, these are the, kind of look like a duckbill. These are the fin entry areas. Anytime you come up to a set of stators, it has to collect the fin, and that accounts for the train misalignment. Now, if you're riding a stator-driven ride, like not too much LSMs anymore, but the old LIMs for sure, and you hear them go through an area and hear them go clack, 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 clack as they start going in, that is actually the fin impacting those guides. They sit there and they slap them as they go in, because the guides are supposed to be actually the narrowest part in and out. All right, well, Mrs. the ride mechanic asked, I said, well, do you want to do a YouTube video out here? And I thought I could record something. And then as I was getting my stuff out, I was just like, well, you know, why not go live? This would actually be a great opportunity to go live. So, yeah, no, the paint does look pretty good on this. Hey there, buy it. Yeah, I would love to, honestly. I see that National Roller Coaster Museum looks like a private collection. I would honestly love to buy something like this and then just put it all back together. Go to Harbor Freight, buy a bunch of bolts. I know a lot of people just cringed. What? And a lot of people are like, Harbor Freight sells bolts? No, I don't know if they do or not. I'm just saying funny things. But, you know, put it all back together. I really wonder if someone legitimate tried to buy this thing, if I believe it's the MGM, who owns Sahara? I don't remember who owns Sahara. But anyways, if you were to try to go them, I wonder if they would be even on the table for selling this off. It's got to be fully depreciated in its value. It's got to be just on the books. I mean, this land over here, they probably own this land that it's sitting on. You know, it's not very secure, but it looks like the parts and pieces are here for the majority, but I mean, a new control system and a new train, you're probably looking at 3/4 of the cost of if I were to just tell Premier right now I wanted to build this over again, just in a new location. But I remember this when I rode it a couple times. The launch out of the station, did that launch out and then a hard left hand down under the sidewalk over there. Yeah, in case you're wondering about the security here. There you go. Chain links pulled back. The launch out of the station under the sidewalk was like really punchy, I remember. It had a really good kick to it. And it was just like, ooh, sudden jolt out of the station, which was great. I loved that. That was really awesome. Kind of really sad to see it go, honestly. Yeah, these old LIM rides are typically really loud. Generally, to cut cost, maintenance and everything, they only used air-cooled stators, as opposed to now, if you get an LIM ride, most people opt for water-cooled stators because they are much, much quieter. They are very quiet compared to. People have experience with this and might not know they have experience with it. If you've ever gone to, where I could say for sure is if you've ever gone to California Adventure over at Disney and ridden on the old California Screamin' / Incredicoaster, those are water-cooled stators. Now, if the train is quiet, if you've got a bunch of people riding and the train's nice and quiet, you can actually hear the stators, and they do make the same screaming sound that an air-cooled stator does. It's just like air-cooled stators are on level 10 of noise, and those water-cooled ones are like on level 2. They're actually hard to hear inside the train, as opposed to a normal ride. You hear them just scream out there at full bore. So yeah, this was it. I just wanted to come get some cool shots of stuff and show it around. I know it's one of those things people typically show up here. I don't know, you bring flowers to a grave site. What do you bring to a roller coaster grave site? A bouquet of bolts. Still the best coaster in Vegas. Yeah, that's so funny. It is still the best coaster in Vegas. I will give you that one. Because the other abomination is sitting down there. It's right over there. There's the old Togo, yeah, yeah, the Manhattan Express. I still call it the Manhattan Express way down there. No, no thanks. I'd much rather go on this one. I mean, they tried. They bought Premier trains and put it on the old Togo. They tried, but I still just prefer. I would love to see this thing back in operation again. Oh man. WD-40. I assume it says how many ice cream cones fit in a roller coaster? That's a good question. Premier trains with the comfort collars are worse than they were before. Yeah. Now there's a good question. Out of one of these columns, how many Dippin' Dots could we fit in here? This is a lot. A lot of Dippin' Dots could fit in one of these columns. You know, one day I would love to visit like a Dippin' Dot manufacturing area and say, how is this done? I would love to see that. I still can't believe that these columns are still just wide open. You know, that there's nothing inside plugging the bore up on there. They must have really put a lot of effort into the flanges on these things. I also find it interesting that normally on a flange like this where it meets the bottom, like this is the bottom that would go up against the ground. Normally there's something underneath them. There's normally like B&Ms use like a piece of I-beam sticking out, something that actually sits in the grout pack that they can grout around. But these are actually just flat on the bottom. I don't know, maybe the stress loads weren't that much. Nothing on the bottom of those guys. They're blank. Yeah, the scale of this stuff is pretty big. Like this guy right here in front of me, this round piece right in front of me, that comes up to my waist, and I'm 6'3". I mean, yeah, that's pretty big. All right, well, I just wanted to do this. Say hi to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Wasn't really expecting it. I know, spur of the moment, nothing else, but I just wanted to say hi. Thanks for joining. And enjoy the rest of your day. If you're at a theme park today, stay hydrated. If you're not at a theme park today, still stay hydrated. Your body needs water to operate. It's crazy how that works out. Yeah, videos, it always does. And again, I just saw that. Where are you? I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, right off the strip. See, there's the strip right over there. This is the old Speed the Ride from the Sahara Hotel that was taken out way down, like, I don't know, must be 4 miles down the road. And this is basically their boneyard. Oh. Peter, thank you very much for the 2, is it pounds? How do I say that? Pounds? I'm not sure. But it's, yeah, the stuff is quite big. So, all right. That's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And yeah, stay hydrated, stay cool, and stay off the air gates. All right. Now I got to figure out how to end this in the bright sunlight. Oh my gosh.